Look at you, you're pathetic. And this isn't the first time I've said it. Look at you standing tall with that chest puffed out. Inside, your insecurities are just dying to bust out. You're a bust now. You're lucky those pills haven't stuffed you out. You cut your friends off so you got nobody to trust now. But you did this to you. I hope you're proud every time you end up back in the news. And you really think we care when you announce you're back in the booth? Nobody's got your back and it's true. I hope I see you beat until you're black and you're blue. Give me that head and I'll crack it in two. Cause the old you was missing when you were back with the crew. Back then you had the anointing and you were passionate too. I know you thought about it, just do it, you coward, and fasten that noose. That guilt keeps piling up, so who you passing it to? Cause God knows you never own up to your own mistakes. You're a fraud in an industry of fakes. Stiff spine, yours bends till it breaks. And you talk about Jesus, but you don't live like him. And you tell people to help others, but you don't give like them. Whatever happened to the old you? I knew you didn't like this, man, I told you. You spent more time dating than praying. Cat got your tongue? You hear what I'm saying? Well, that cat's out of the bag now and that spotlight's fading. You could have been somebody, you could have done things right. You got an army behind you, but you'd rather run than stand up and fight. What's wrong with you, man? Wake up! For God's sake, stop sulking your regrets and shape up. This is bigger than you. Don't you see this is bigger than me? Is this the man you want your daughter to see? One day she'll grow up and say he was no father to me. But what about those kids who look up to you? You can't even drag yourself out of bed, man, what's up with you? You were called to be different and you were made to be great. But when I see you, I see everything that I hate. You're a messenger who's a mess. You're down and depressed. If you don't get help, you're gonna die like this. I told myself I wouldn't cry like this. But look at you, man, what are you doing? Watching you suffer like this is grueling. But you chose to love your sin more than your maker. And you blame them for what happened, but you're the faker. And you keep playing in the dirt like it's gonna satisfy you. I might just pull this trigger. Would you be mad if I do? Do it, coward. You won't because you're scared too. And don't blame me for where we're at. You were there too. You could have done something. I couldn't stop you. Could have asked for help, but you didn't because of your pride. Our sins are out in public now and we have nothing to hide, and that kills you inside. But the part of us who doesn't care about the past or what we do, you have no idea what your high expectations have put us through. And now that we're failures, it kills you too. Keep up the chip on your shoulder, Clayton. Don't lie. You're really the one who wants us to die. So if you want to pull a gun on us here, so will I.
Chicken cheddar ranch. Tastes like it sounds.
Welcome, everyone. Every time you walk through these doors, you're taking steps to find yourself. Remember, this is a safe place. There's no judgment. You are accepted right where you're at, and wherever that leads, to find your own peace and happiness. Feel free to express yourself, to release your anxiety. I want you to be able to walk out with inner strength to finally be free. Clayton, it's great to have you back. I know you don't like to share, but why don't you start us off tonight? We want to hear what you have to say.
I like this one.
I wake up, puddle of sweat. I have nightmares and I get back into bed. It's like these voices just keep playing on repeat in the back of my head. And I can't get them to leave me alone. 30 years old, but still hates being alone when I'm home. Because that's when the voices get the loudest. Opening up like this is a moment far from my proudest. But these demons keep pressing me, I swear they're the foulest. But I've grown comfortable with their presence, my conscience is calloused. My dreams are their playground, my thoughts are their palace. I try to evict them, they return with more. Anxiety isn't an item you can return at the store. I was 10 the first time I had a panic attack. Like a punch to the stomach, there's no planning for that. And I didn't tell anyone because I was too scared about what they'd say. And I know deep down there was nothing they could do to take it away. It was my fight to fight and my battle to face. I remember that house I grew up in and how those demons would rattle that place. I'd lay awake at night just staring at the ceiling. I've spent my whole life trying to run from that feeling of being lonely, that feeling of being lost, that feeling of being sick when the lights turn off, that feeling of being depressed, that feeling of being anxious, that feeling of screaming to God, begging Him to take this, only to get silence in return. I lay in that bed crying and I tossed and I turned, and I turned and I tossed to this day. The doctors gave me medication, the pastor said pray. I tried both and this anxiety still hasn't gone away. So forgive me if I fantasize about being gone today. I'm an actor who got really good at being on today, but when I turn off, I go right back into the shadows. I'm in the deep end now, but I started in the shallows, and I might just drown myself in these waves. Suburban hell, these homes are all graves. Everyone's coping with something but won't admit it, they're all too afraid. And these kids are glued to watching me, what do I say? If I'm honest with them, maybe they won't think highly of me. Everything they want me to be is what I'm dying to be, but everything I really am is what I'm not trying to be. I want them to know that they're not alone in their struggles. I wake up in tears and fall back asleep in those puddles, and I don't think I'll ever get out of this valley I'm in. Terrified that all along God has tallied my sins, and if He has, the number must be astronomical. My life is a joke and you keep reading, just past the comic, because everything you think that I am is far from the truth. I wish I could open up to you and just let loose, but my vocal cords get tight when the devil pulls on this noose, and then I'm back to keeping everything bottled up inside. But He's not gonna keep me from pulling the throttle back this time. He's not gonna keep me trapped like this. I can't get out of bed, I was never made to act like this. I'm packing up my bags and He can't stop me from running fast like this. I'm not gonna be a slave to these voices of anxiety. I'm shoving the devil back for every time that he lied to me. And I'm taking a bout to these demons who whisper despair in my ear. And I'm ignoring every naysayer who stands and stares when I'm near. I'm moving forward out of this slump. I took my bruises, I took my lumps. I fell down, but I got right back up. So give me a torch and let's light that up. I'm setting fire to the devil and I'm dousing these demons in gasoline. Look at you now you're not laughing at me. Now who's the one who's being tortured and punked? Now who's the one closing every door that I want? Now who's the one watching the other burn to the ground? Don't look away from me, you better turn back around. I'm not done talking to you now, I'm watching your moves. I'm on your back and I'm stalking you too. And when you try to ruin some other kid's life, I'll be stopping you too. You took 30 years of my life and I can't get that back. You told me to end my life and I nearly got killed for that. You took me down but I bounced right back. I was lost then and I got found like that. And everything you told me I wasn't, someone new told me I was. And everything you hated in me, someone new told me He loves. And when you tried to kill me with depression and anxiety, He reached in and placed hope deep inside of me. So I'm done listening to you and letting you control me. I'm announcing it now that the devil can't hold me. I'm walking away from the old me, and I'm demanding a refund on every lie that you sold me. You knew I'd find a way out sooner or later, and I found my escape in the form of a Savior.
It's crispy. It's creamy. It's Kinder Bueno.
You stumbled and fell, and you wanna run away. Find yourself holding on to yesterday. The light is fading fast. There's so much left to say. The weight of your past hold you down again.
I'm sorry for every time that I hurt you. I was living like a dog and you called me to live in virtue. You searched my heart but I never searched for you. I was too busy finding my satisfaction in the slop of the society. And when the consequences came, I had the audacity to look at you and say, why me? I don't get it. You named the sin and I did it. I feel the shame cause I'm in it. And sometimes the weight of my past makes it hard for me to breathe. And they say it gets better, but the future is too far for me to see. I can't look out the windshield when I have a million people holding up rear views. I'm a wretched man and I don't belong anywhere near you. But your hand is still out and you say come as I am. But why do you keep telling me to come when you know that I can't? I never heard you speak until I held that gun in my hand. And when I pressed it to my chest, you told me to stop. I'm standing here with nothing in my hands because nothing is all that I got. I don't know why you want me when I don't want myself. And those pills I popped, they're nothing to stop my health. The doctor said I'd feel better with Xanax and Lexapro. I popped pills by the bottle but still couldn't let you go. Because every time I ran from reality, the reality of who you are ran to me. You said you had plans for me. Is this who you planned I'd be? So many lies told about me like plan B. Or did you have more for me? Numb to the pain like morphine. But the highs always stopped, but the headaches wouldn't. And I must have lied to 1,000 people in the meet and greet lines I stood in. Fake smiles and forced prayers for their family and health. Trying to give them the hope I never felt for myself. Get back home and stick that Bible back on that shelf. I spent more time talking about you than I talked with you. I felt like Judas when he betrayed you and kissed you. Clayton Michael Iscariot, a flawed sinner who took only to find out my carrier. So this is me, take it, but I suggest you leave it. My dad used to warn me, but I never heeded. Suit and tie on the outside, but I have the heart of a felon. Sin looked good, but life got hard when I fell in, and I couldn't get out. I sank into the sunken place and lived without church and without the Bible. Slumped over sulking hours away from my next revival. Like a rock star with no rock and no Star of David. The spotlight was my instrument and I learned to play it. And the music sounded good to the masses who amassed in amazement. They never saw the depressed Clayton strung out in the basement. If I could go back, I'd do anything I could to change it. Memories of when I was authentic or ancient. I was never in this for recognition or payment, but that changed somewhere along those million miles of pavement. And I've passed a lot of roadkill along the way, and maybe I'll get killed on the road someday. People write death threats and think that it bothers me, but let me show you the honest me honestly. I get why people hate me, but I have no clue why some are so fond of me. I'd be just fine leaving the world today or tomorrow. The end of life has two doors like a Monte Carlo. I hope I'm on a highway to heaven and someday I get let in. I hope someday I stop trying to carry the weight of my past and I let him. Because all you ever wanted from me was me. You tried showing me roadblocks, I was too stubborn.
Let's go help people customize and save living in YouTube. Okay, who sat at my desk?
You matter. Who's called You Matter?
I've never been one to sugarcoat my feelings, so I grew up with a whole lot of parent-teacher meetings, and they said I was stubborn and hard-headed. I always felt like I was...
This is a great one right here. I love this one.
He is more than you could ever know. He's more than the eye can see. I don't deserve his love, but he's always been there for me. You see, Jesus met me